I've always considered myself lucky, but it's not really luck. It's actually about turning up where I am, really being there. And I do actually credit myself with a lot of adaptability and flexibility, actually, that in my later life is going to be incredibly useful. And I started with this view behind me, because where you can see this sort of divot, the ha-ha, as we call it, this marks the border between where the public can actually walk in the private gardens of Chatsworth and where it turns into the old park over here. But actually next week, I've just done my tour around the house and I've been taking my time today because my therapist is on holiday. So he's away this Friday, today, and next Friday as well. It all works out perfectly, as all things do in the end. I'm going to be going on a tour around that old part of the park, and I've been told it's quite spooky, so it should be nice and atmospheric. And by looking up at those trees up there and the sort of different paths going through it, you start to get an idea. It's quite exciting, you know, doing new things. And what I actually wrote about this morning was, what do you think the effects of your actions actually are? What do you think your behaviour is actually doing? Because people are, understandably, financially, people are struggling, but people are always struggling in one way, shape or form, frankly. They're complaining about politicians and, you know, doing screenshots of politicians they don't like and parading them around online like teenage boys. I mean, it's sort of comical. It's pretty pathetic, frankly, childish. And I don't want to spend my life doing that, because I've wasted time doing that. What I actually really want to do, I want to be where I am. I want to grab the bull by the horns and really take charge of my life. And one way to do that is to stop engaging in really, really damaging behaviour. I find it so comical that people still parade around online, not just once or twice, but relentlessly say, oh God, this politician, he's such a liar, and she's completely inept and stupid, and so, yeah. You're still surprised by all of this? I mean, it's crazy. But you know what? This is why, and I hold to this point, it's why I actually say people enjoy the drama of it all. And it gets people's juices flowing. You can see it. They enjoy the rage porn. I was talking about this fairly recently. There's something about expressing that visceral anger in front of massive audiences online that people like, because they wouldn't do it as frequently as they do if they weren't getting something out of it. You know, cause and effect. Nothing is random, you know, nothing is by accident, nothing is by chance. I think we have to start being more grown up and admitting that whatever we're doing, no matter how negative or destructive it might be, we have to accept responsibility for our lives. And life is much better. Life is so much better when you start taking responsibility for life and doing the things that you want and love. Because today I was thinking, oh gosh, it's really busy in the house, more so than usual. But actually it's not busier. It's the fact that I'm taking long to go around the house, so different tour groups are going to be moving around there. Hello. Oh, he's a little pup. Fabulous spot, isn't it? It's heaven, isn't it? Heaven. But being in your surroundings, taking time, observing what's going on. It's all about being in the real world. It's all about being in the real world, you know, smelling the flowers, interacting with people, realizing that in many, many places we're really lucky to be alive. And I think there's real opportunity in that, actually, because when you're more conscious, you can take advantage of opportunities to, you know, to help other people along their paths that want to do it. I think we all have a tendency to want to try and convince people of things. It's not the point. It's to express yourself openly and honestly with heart, and to attract other people to you, so that, to sound really woo-woo, you start building energy centers. And when you get like-minded people together who have similar visions, doesn't even have to be the exact same one, who share similar principles, traits, values, especially positive ones, well, what happens is the whole, that energy center, is greater than the sum of its parts. It's kind of like a magnet. It has a gravitational pull towards doing better in the world. And we see this all the time. So I've got a really great friend in the village who actually, I have recorded videos in the past where I expressed doubts over the relationship. But the thing is, that was me at a stage where, frankly, I was still traumatized by my ex-boyfriend. I was figuring out who I am, what I want, how I want to go about doing it, etc. And this lovely tree and these lovely leaves have like a really nice leathery texture, details. You know, start to notice these things that you're attracted to, and good people will come into your life. And I messaged this chap yesterday saying how much I liked him, how much I enjoyed spending time with him, his energy, his willingness, his enthusiasm, his sense of humour, and expressing that, just doing it openly and honestly. Because what does complaining about politicians do online? Well, it just feeds more energy back to those horrible politicians. Well, let's face it, if they're making the decisions they're making, and even if you're complaining about them online, that's narcissistic supply. People don't see this. They get so consumed with rage and anger and injustice that they poison themselves. It's bizarre. So many people do it. And I hit the mute button a lot more than I've ever done. I'm curating my life. I'm interested in people who are proffering possible solutions to things. They don't have to be the definitive ones, because I believe actually that even the possibility of there being a solution, this feeling that and believing that, that's a positive to me. Acknowledging the possibility of being able to say no, even if it's difficult, I see that as a fantastic head start to where most people are in life, because it's always your choice. Always your choice of how you respond in the moment. I think if you can hold to that and realize just how magically powerful you are as a human being, I think that is a great way forward. And realizing that we're going out of the paradigm of politics and mainstream media. We don't believe in these things in the way that we used to. And people see that as a doom and gloom prospect. I don't. I see that as a fantastic opportunity for renaissance, for rebirth, and building a world that's actually worth living in, really worth living in. And it's why I always come down to personal responsibility, because if you don't see anybody else doing it, be the one to start it. Do not get involved in the futile and pointless destruction of your God-given soul. Do not do it. You don't have to. It's not an imperative that you have to participate in the theatre and pantomime of politics, all these different culture wars. Because I actually encountered a little bit of diversity, equity and inclusion bollocks when I was going around the house. We're in a 400-year-old stately home. These people do not believe in diversity, inclusion and equity. They don't believe in it. But all of the staff are gagged, imprisoned. So, oh no, I believe in inclusivity, because we were talking about a particular tour that isn't accessible to people in wheelchairs. So they've done away with that bit of the tour. And I said, well, okay. But that's the needs of the few dictating the needs of the many. So, oh, you know, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. She's a prisoner. She's a prisoner. And later in the tour around the house, I spoke with somebody else and said, we all know it's rubbish, but we're all being forced, you know, down the throat to abide by it. I see my role as I said to this lady that I spoke to later in the tour, I see my role as planting seeds, having the bravery and the courage to actually speak it out loud. It's a powerful position, a privilege to be in, to actually stand up for goodness, righteousness and the truth. Because everybody knows it's all bollocks, the political stuff, but people still abide by it. Working estate. That's why I love it. It's alive. It's alive. Diversity, inclusion and equity. That's you die a death with that bullshit. No, I firmly believe, let's go this way actually. I haven't walked this path. He's doing good work over there. And it's your choice. It's your choice whether you want to live while you're alive or be dead while you're alive, believing in bullshit. There's no more bullshit than talking about the machinations of politicians. God, how pointless. We need to move away from those people, not towards them. Goodness me. But whole of history shows there's only ever a small cohort of people that actually believe this. But we are important people, you know? And I've not necessarily been out there on the culture wars front doing all of the great work that other people have been doing. But I realise that I have an enormously emotional response to these things. That's part of my journey, resilience. And after I had that conversation, I did actually my heart rate was up. But I realised that part of that was because, you know, I was standing up for what's right. And if you can be one of the other people that does it, well, energy centres, believe in the power that you actually have, because it's far greater than you think.